Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fan Dummies. Today's show is all about his dark materials. And if you're new here, I'm Greg.
And I'm Erin.
And we talk about superhero, science fiction, and fantasy every single week, all the time, in our sleep, in the shower. Some people sing, not us. We talk superhero, sci-fi, and fantasy. If you're into it like we're into it, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Erin, you ready to talk a little his dark materials?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What is his dark materials? I mean, there's not even any like materials in the show, hardly.
I don't know. Well, these are deep questions.
I just, it just hit me right now. It's kind of a dumb name.
It's probably the dust.
Yeah, I guess so. And the YouTube channel already has that name on lockdown, so we can't use that.
The Sci-Fi one.
Yeah.
As Greg mentioned, we watched his dark materials. We've watched season 1 and 2 so far, and that's all that there is.
Yep.
Season 2 just ended in December of 2020.
We needed shows during this time.
I know. I can't believe we didn't watch it. Like,
You were sitting around twiddling our thumbs. We actually needed material for the show, even.
His dark materials.
We were not twiddling his dark materials, Erin. I don't know what you're trying to say. But we could have been.
Yeah. Well, I think since the book and the movie that was created a while back, they had some controversy around them. So it kind of made us think, oh, maybe we shouldn't watch this. I don't know why. I don't know why we listen to other people.
It's just that when there's controversy around it, it just makes it less fun.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about it on the show, it leads to weird comments and all sorts of stuff that
it makes it harder to talk about.
Yeah, we just don't love.
Yeah.
But we said, heck with it all.
Yeah. And we're not going to focus on the controversy. We're going to focus on the storytelling and the actual show and the actors and everything. So I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much, this is the fantasy series that we didn't know that we needed, but we have. It's got to be one of my favorite fantasy series that we've watched for the podcast, or probably that I've watched like in my lifetime.
In your lifetime?
Yeah.
Really?
For fantasy.
Yeah, I think sometimes we need to watch something that's both live action and epic.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that makes sense. But we've been watching tons of animated series such as like Star Wars Rebels and all sorts of cool anime like Overlord.
Oh, yeah.
And after the Expanse and the Mandalorian ended, that was really our epic, like the epicness of the stuff that we watched just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Like even WandaVision, how fun it is, isn't like epic. It's not like deep world building.
Yeah.
Stuff, right? It's just not as detailed.
Yeah. And this series is based off the books as well. We're going to talk about that here in a couple minutes. But, neither one of us has read the books. So I think that makes it even more fun, going into it, because I didn't know anything about it. And I think that's why we also we're like, what? I don't know. His dark materials. It sounds spooky.
Yeah, it's a dumb name for sure.
Yeah.
And then Golden Compass, I thought it was a kid thing. I just didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's both our fault for not investigating it and their fault for marketing it terribly.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, his dark materials does follow a character named Lyra, and she is an 11-year-old, I guess, is she a teenager, young woman?
She's a preteen.
Preteen?
Yeah.
I don't know what you call 11-year-olds, but
Babies.
Babies. She looks really young.
Yeah.
And that surprised me, number one, because I wasn't expecting the main character to be a young preteen.
It would normally kind of turn me off.
Uh-huh.
But Lyra is a really fun character.
Oh, yeah. She's got a lot to deal with in her own world. And we say own world because if you haven't watched this series, there's different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what makes it really great.
Yeah, and Lyra's family life is a little bit odd too. Like she believes her family's dead, and her uncle kind of ditched her. that's what she's led to believe, at least when she was young.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was raised in a school kind of like Hogwarts, which there's a lot of parallels between the Harry Potter stories and these.
Yeah. Well, they came out, I think, around kind of the same time in the 90s. So that kind of makes sense. Lyra's quest starts with her trying to figure out who kidnapped her friends. And along the way, they find out that there's a secret organization. They encounter extraordinary beings, be it witches or armored polar bears. I mean, check.
I never knew I had armored polar bears on my checklist, but sure, check.
Yeah. And she also protects dangerous secrets. I mean, how does this not sound epic?
Yeah, it's really good. As you probably guessed, and we've said earlier already in this episode, his Dark Materials is based on a book written by Philip Pullman. The show, on the other hand, is co-produced by BBC and HBO, and the first season kind of covers the events of the first book, The Golden Compass, which is what the old movie they made, like 2007, was called The Golden Compass, I think. What's fun is the second season also follows the events of the second book, which is called The Subtle Knife. So you can probably put 1 and 2 together to make 3, and the third season is going to follow the third book.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We'll see. But they are in the works right now creating the third season, and that third book is called The Amber Spyglass. So hopefully, if it follows the pattern, it will follow this book.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out what the Amber Spyglass is, because each book kind of goes along with, the subject matter in the show. So I don't know. Do you have any guesses?
It's a spyglass made of amber.
Are they going to be able to look between both worlds or something?
It's a spyglass previously owned by someone named Amber.
Yes.
I mean,
by Amber Spyglass.
It would be cool to be able to see between worlds, right? Where you can like put it up to your face and it shows you a different world, but in that same location as you're at.
Ooh. Well, it's kind of like the knife, like when they were to split the window and then they moved over 5 feet or whatever. That was the same place in the other world, even though there was different buildings and stuff there.
All I can say is if the Amber Spyglass really existed, it would be tough to take a shower. I'd take real fast showers. Not that anyone's peeping, but now that it exists, You
probably just wouldn't care by then.
Yeah, they're probably not. They're just Lyra's world doesn't even have showers, so nobody's peeping on that.
Yeah. Pullman more recently has written a new trilogy called The Book of Dust. And that first book in it is called La Belle Sauvage. And it's set 12 years before the first book, The Golden Compass. And that's where they get that first little bit of the story in the first season where Lyra's uncle drops her off at the college. And that's where that comes from. So it's not actually from like The Golden Compass.
Now, I wonder if we should read that series before we read the Golden Compass trilogy.
Yeah. I looked into it and I was just like, I don't know. I just want to read the Golden Compass.
See, I like going back and figuring out like what order to read them in order to best kind of experience it.
Yeah.
Because if I read the first 3 after I read the Golden Compass, it'll feel like a prequel. You know how I feel about prequels.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. It's like Star Wars. It's got the 3 movies and then they made the prequels. It's exactly like that. Like you even see comparisons about it like online. How people explain it. Don't worry about what books to pick up and read. We're going to link it all down in the description below. So just click on those links and you'll be set. Yep.
They film seasons 1 and 2 back to back, which I think is really important when you're dealing with adolescent teens.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Meaning they wake up one day and they're 5 feet taller than they were the day before. I mean, you have to film this stuff quickly.
Yeah. It seemed like Lyra grew up some.
Totally.
From season 1 to 2. And then a couple episodes into season 2, you were like, Erin, did she grow up some? And I was like, I think so. Like I noticed it a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
but I think that's just the age that you grow.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. You can't go a year between filming when you're filming with kids
Yeah.
because they really change a lot. And
Yeah.
it's totally, if they're supposed to be 10 in the story and they're 20, right? Like it doesn't
Yeah.
fit.
We're going to talk about it here in a minute, but Daphne, I just saw her in some interviews. I think she's like 15 in real life,
Yeah.
but those were a few months ago or maybe a year ago. So she's not that old still. And she has a really young look to her as well.
Yeah. She's playing the correct age group,
Mm-hmm.
which is good.
Yeah.
One fun fact is that his Dark Materials, the original trilogy, is published in 40 languages. That's how
Wow.
popular this series is. And the book sold 18 million copies worldwide since 1995 when it was first published.
It's
18 million.
a lot.
I wonder how much money the author gets from each book.
I don't know.
Maybe $1 or $2,
What?
maybe?
You don't think more than that?
Probably not.
It's still $18 million or double that.
I know. Well, I'm sure the rights to the TV show were pretty pricey.
Yeah. I guess if he still owns it,
No, I'm sure.
you think?
Yeah.
So have you read them yet, Craig?
I don't read fantasy. I mean,
You read Shadow and Bone
that was a
for the podcast,
it was
and you read the first Harry Potter book, and you're probably going to read more of them, right?
that was FTP.
Right, Craig?
FTP for the podcast.
Well, I couldn't wait to read the books, and I went and downloaded the first one on my Kindle just
Yeah.
a couple nights ago. I'm like maybe 20 pages in, and it's starting out a lot like the first episode, which is pretty fun.
I don't plan on ever reading these.
You don't think so?
No. I think I'm more likely to go back and read science fiction that we've seen, like maybe the Expanse series.
Yeah.
I just I mean, are they going to continue making these? Obviously not, because there's only 3 books.
I don't know. Yeah.
So,
Unless they come up with a good story or reason to do it.
yeah, the only really reason I like to go back and read the books is if it's for a specific podcast that we're making, like
Mhm.
the Harry Potter podcasts. And if the authors continued the series, but the show got canceled and I
Yeah.
loved the show,
Yeah.
right? Then I'll go back and read the books.
Yeah. I just love the Harry Potter books. I love the whole world of, Hogwarts and everything and the magic.
Yeah.
So it kind of falls in the same category. I think if you liked Harry Potter or if you like Lord of the Rings, or if you like Narnia, it's kind of like the same type of stories.
Yeah, less
Fantasy.
Lord of the Rings, more Harry Potter for sure.
Yeah.
Because this is not high fantasy. This is, I mean, there's witches and magic and stuff, but it's not like dragons and orcs and trolls and
Yeah.
wizards, brooms,
Broomsticks.
cauldrons.
There's no Nimbus 2000.
There's no Nimbus 2000. There's not even a 1000, which is crazy.
In this world, they only ride polar bears with armor.
Yeah, I mean, they're slumming it big time. Let's briefly talk about the actors because they're relatively unknown and they are amazing.
Mhm.
Like so good.
Yeah.
Were you familiar with any of them, Erin?
A couple of them, yeah.
Known of them or actually familiar?
Yeah, at least 2 of them. Looking at the list here. Yeah.
Oh, I was only familiar with them after you told me who they were.
Yeah. Yeah,
McAvoy.
everybody knows James McAvoy. I mean, X-Men.
Oh, Professor X.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You always say that, and I'm like, no, you don't remember? And you're like, oh, yeah.
that's what I'm trying to say. Like I definitely recognized him,
Mm-hmm.
but it takes me a while to place him.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the actors in this series, they're British.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's produced by the BBC, so you're going to get a lot of the British actors. I think that sometimes they don't really cross over too much into like movies and stuff that we've seen.
Yeah, we've watched very few British stuff.
Mm-hmm. Daphne Keane, she plays Lyra Silvertongue, and you'll see why she gets the last name Silvertongue.
Because
Which
it's
is-
supposed to be Balakwa, right?
Yeah.
That's what she starts out with is Lyra Balakwa.
Yeah. That was pretty fun. You might have seen her in Logan, so that she's one other one that you've seen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these are the, like, as soon as you told me who they were, I went, oh.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so if you've seen the Logan movie, she's the young girl in that movie.
Yeah,
that has like the Wolverine claws, and I guess she was experimented on as well.
Yeah, she's the wee Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have Amir Wilson, who plays Will Perry. And Will Perry's the protagonist that meets up with Lyra for season 2. And he has his own kind of quest to go on, and Lyra helps him achieve his quest, and he helps her achieve hers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really kind of a fun little team up. And they're about the same age. So, you know, they're cute together.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it to it doesn't sound weird, but you know, for teenagers, it's a cool little team they have going on there.
Yeah. They become pretty good friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Will's father disappears for, I think, at least maybe a decade, 10 years, a long time.
Like it was since he was really young.
Yeah. He wants to find his father. Well, obviously, Lyra is chasing her uncle and doing all sorts of stuff for her quest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Amir, you might have seen him in Letter for the King.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen him on Letter for the King advertisement on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
We saw the side of his face and we went, is that Will?
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to watch that.
Yeah. I think we should.
Because we really liked Amir's performance.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Like even though Daphne and Amir are really young, they're really good actors for I think their age.
They've got some serious talent.
Uh-huh.
And we know Daphne's been acting for a long time because she was a baby in Logan.
Yeah.
She was really young.
Yeah. There's also Kit Connor, and he voices Pantalaimon, aka Pan, who is Lyra's demon.
Yeah. A critical character.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Pan has nearly as many lines as Lyra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It kind of brings a little bit more to the story, having these demons with the people, because they do talk and interact, you know, with their human.
Yeah.
So you get like a little backstory, I guess. Like you get more description, I think, with what's going on a lot of times.
Yeah, and a perspective that's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next, there is James McAvoy, and he plays Lord Azrael Balakwa, and he's a brilliant scholar and a fearless explorer, and he just wants to uncover the truth.
So he says. He really is trying to take down the magisterium. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
He's a scientist in a world ran by theologians, which has got to be tough.
I think that's what makes it interesting, though, is because he knows that there's more out there than, you know, what he's been taught his whole life.
Yeah. I mean, he sees a city in the Aurora Borealis.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
I think that's the first scene that we saw that I was like, I am hooked. When he was looking up in the sky and that city was there, like, I'm like, we have to finish watching this.
Yeah, that's really great. Next, we have Ruth Wilson, who plays Mrs. Coulter, and she is associated with the magisterium, but super crafty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a really great character. Like, I don't know if I should trust her or not trust her half the time.
You definitely do not trust Mrs. Coulter. Bad news.
Yeah.
You might have seen her in Luther. We haven't. You might have, because Luther is a detective show, so we wouldn't have seen it.
There's also Arian Bakar, and he plays Carl Boreal, and he's also associated with the Magisterium. You might have seen him in Carnival Row, another really great fantasy show that we've watched. He plays Darius in that series. Go watch Carnival Row if you haven't seen it already.
Doesn't hold a candle to this show.
Not at all.
Not at all. Carnival Row was an A until I saw this. Now Carnival Row is like a C.
You're filling out your fantasy knowledge. Like, the more I think stuff that we watch, the more we're like, oh, that used to be good, but this is really good.
Right. There's also Lin Manuel Miranda, who played Lee Scoresby, one of my favorite characters in the show. Really great. Scoresby is an aeronaut for hire. Basically, he drives a hot air balloon, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And you might know him from Hamilton, which we have still not seen.
No, we haven't seen it, but I've listened to the music over and over a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that created Hamilton.
Yeah.
I was surprised when we saw Lin Manuel in this series because I thought he'd be too busy to be just acting in a series. I don't know. Hamilton's so huge. I mean, that's got to be one of the most popular, plays right now for like the last couple years or more. But
well, the character Lee Scoresby had a rabbit as his demon.
and
I think that was one of your favorites, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like his whole character is cool because he has like a hot air balloon that he rides around, and he has a bunny hair rabbit or whatever that is his demon. So it's fun. And he really cares for Lyra, and I thought that was really sweet. Like he really wants to help her, I think.
There are way more actors in this show than we could possibly cover on today's episode.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go to IMDb. The list is long. There's 50 or more at least, and they're all pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's really no bad actors or actresses in this show.
Yeah, and if you like the show as much as we did, you'll be excited to know that there's going to be a season 3.
Yeah.
But the bad news is that it's probably not going to come out until 2022.
I heard that.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't even started filming it yet because of everything that's going on. But it's coming. So just wait for it.
Hopefully there's a time jump so it makes sense for Lyra and Will. I mean, Will will probably be 6 feet tall. He's already tall, like super tall.
Yeah, I don't know. Since I haven't read the 3rd book, I don't know if there's going to be a time jump or not, but it doesn't really seem like there is going to be one based on like how it ended though.
That's what I was thinking too. Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep.
It all makes sense. The power of CGI. Thank you for watching, Fan Dummies. We would love to hear from you in the comment section. Hit that subscribe, like, and bell so you don't miss the next episode. Until next time, bye.
Bye.